Here we are. I wanted to make sure everybody was familiar with the community space. I'm actually super excited because our very first ambassador is in with us, Miss
Hey.
Rebecca. Hey there, I saw you join.
Hi,
Um,
Laura.
I want to take you quickly. I'm going to real quick share the screen, Claire. Yes, and just show you briefly how to get to our community space. Um, and hold on 1 second, let me just make that bigger and get rid of that. Okay, you all see my screen? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to put a site into the chat in just a moment, but I just wanted to show you how to get there. And so when I put that link in, you can click here to join the community. If you haven't joined yet, it's going to take you to a real quick spot where you can sign up through with your view board access there, and then it will take you right into the community. If you already have joined, welcome back, and you then are already familiar with our community space, this online forum that's really here for you. I'm so excited how the community space is really evolving, and people like Claire are contributing to our really nice looking webinar library that's coming together so well. And so what I'd love for you to do to have an opportunity to participate in the drawing if you've done any of our webinars, our workshops before, we love, love, love to give things away at the end. And so I'd love to be able to give you guys a gift card. And so all I will need you to do, and let me just go back so that I can be a better, do a better job of showing you how to get there. What you're going to do is click on to the link for our time together. So this link here, you'll click, and then you'll come down to the comment section. Rebecca, our ambassador, has already kicked us off with a comment. And so if you continue to comment there, what I'm going to do at the end, I'm going to put your name into our wheel of names, and I'm going to draw a couple of names. So as you're reflecting, thinking, all of that, pop it into the thread on the community space, and then you will have an opportunity to perhaps win a gift card at the end. Okay, so again, I'm going to put that link into the chat in just a moment, but I just want to welcome our special guest, Claire, who is just awesome. I had the privilege of meeting Claire at one of the conferences. I think it was FETC, and she's just a bottle of energy, and I just loved her from the start. And I'm so excited that she has the passion that she has for esports is just so infectious. And so I'm just thrilled that she's here to kind of spread the love and joy with you all this morning in this session, or afternoon, depending upon where you're at. And I did see the chat. We've got folks from all over. So welcome, welcome. And Claire, let me stop sharing and stop talking so you can get started.
Perfect. All right. So let's see. Should I share again?
Yes, please go ahead and
Okay.
share. I'm done.
Let's share screen to sound and video. There we go. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Okay, now I need to see the video panel. Perfect. Okay, now I know where I'm looking. So nice to have you all here. Looks like one of you is getting ready to have an awesome esports program in the fall because you've got some equipment lined up. So congratulations on that. And the rest of you are newer to it. So I have so much information here. So one thing I'm going to say is my intent is to breeze through the facts pretty quickly because you will be able to get the slide deck afterwards. I've already sent the PDF of the deck. So I'm not sure how that will be distributed, but there's lots of data in here. And so I want to make sure you have access to that. I know it kind of depends on where you are. Some places, the administrators are super excited about it and they see esports and it comes from the top down in the district or in a school. And sometimes it's a little bit of a battle to say, no, it actually is good to have esports. This isn't just kids wasting their time playing more video games. So what I have is a wide range of information to help you understand both the benefits of a scholastic esports program as well as the first steps of getting started. So with that, let me jump right in. So the first thing is NASEF is an acronym. I'm going to say it once. The Network of Academic and Scholastic Esports Federations. And by scholastic esports, we don't just mean esports in schools. We mean esports as a platform for education and learning, for interest-driven learning. So our mission is to use esports as that platform where kids get interested in what you're talking about, and then therefore you have an opportunity to teach them life skills, career skills, while they're having a good time, while they're enjoying it, and also boost things like attendance and GPA. I'll show you how that works out. Our vision is to equip students so that they, as I said, they're not just developing those career skills, but also life skills and empathy and learning how to be more productive and part of a team. And that all, yes, indeed, is wrapped up into a video game atmosphere. We are the official education partner of the IESF, the International Esports Federation. And so what this means is essentially we've been designated by the global leader in esports to help educate through ministries of education and different platforms around the world. That matters. I just want you to know the credibility that comes with NASEF, that we are really looked up to and held up as the standard. And so when you use our resources and our materials, you're absolutely getting the very best. I know I'm biased, but if IESF says it, it's true. So scholastic and academic esports is using esports as a vehicle for interest-driven learning, for PBL, for problem-based learning, for social emotional development, career and technical education. And the way we do that is by following this model where you see players and games are at the center, and the interest in esports is like the magnet that draws them in. But then once they're in this esports environment, you have an opportunity to teach all kinds of things. And at NASEF, we divide those into this ecosystem with different quadrants of focus, from strategists to content creator, organizers, entrepreneurs. And so we put our energy into different content pathways and challenges around each of these different quadrants. This we jokingly call our Candy Crush slide. This is a blow up of if you take what I just said and you want to look at the career possibilities in esports, this is a great visual for you. And I mean, you can see everything from broadcast to game development to communications to social media to finance to legal. All of those careers have a place in esports. The esports industry now is larger globally than music and movies combined. So just let that sink in for a second. Larger than music and movies combined. And so the opportunity for careers in esports is just, I mean, it is on this hockey stick of growth. And so what I always say is I love my job. When I get up in the morning, I am super excited to work on what I'm doing. And I want to give kids the opportunity to have the same thing. So if they love data and they're number crunchers, they could work, you know, maybe in data analytics for a team, or maybe work as an accountant somewhere in the esports world, but just helping them understand that there are all of these opportunities in like good paying jobs in the esports industry. That's important not only for the students, but that is really important for parents to understand. And also, as I said earlier, if there are administrators that you know, you want to try to help them understand why this is beneficial, the career possibilities is a huge hook. So I am going to, oops, let's see here, play for you my control panel is in the way. There we go. I'm going to play for you a video. Now, I have a disclaimer. This is a brand new video. We held the California State Championships on April 27th, and this is the draft video that is a compilation. But this will give you a feel for what it looks like to have a state championships in esports and what matters to the people that are involved. This will drive me crazy the entire 1 minute and 2 seconds. But on the bottom, there's a little timestamp that our videographer is using in the editing. And so I apologize, but I felt like I would rather show you something that's fresh and hot off the press. So here we go. If you can't hear, let me know. It should be good.
I never thought I would be here. It's been really fun so far, and we haven't even started.
They have potential careers and game design or just esports in general, and bringing this to our campuses is very exciting.
They're building that camaraderie and something that is the future of school.
We really want to look at our students' passion and develop programs that really help maximize their potential. And we know that esports is something that children feel very passionate about.
The esports is a big thing, and there's a lot of money going into it and a lot of careers being made from it. So if you want to do what's best for your students, you need to offer this to them.
What do you think? Pretty amazing, huh? I was at that event when when the matches were going on and I was outside. The applause from the audience inside the auditorium could be heard outside. I mean, the excitement was palpable. It's just like every other sport. And I think that's really something that we want people to understand is for these kids who this is their thing. I always think when you're a gamer and what you love to do, a lot of people kind of push it off to the side and like, oh, you're a gamer. When you take that and you elevate it and you say, you know what, if this matters to you, this matters to us, that changes that child's experience of school and it changes their career trajectory by acknowledging that their passion is important. And so, I mean, that to me, that's just one of the personal benefits that I see. And I'll show you in this research how that plays out in the kids' lives. So I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. Again, you're going to have the slides afterwards. We do have at NASEF's website, which is nasef.org. There is under the learning menu a whole section that is the research. And so you can go there for all of the actual papers written by UC Irvine that I'm going to reference here. So what we did when NASEF started about 6.5 years ago, we had a grant and we hired the University of California Irvine's Connected Learning Lab to do some research. And so we went through, and that first year it was a pilot and we had 25 schools with 38 teams. And the focus at that time was purely on the after school environment and clubs. Now, since then, we've evolved and we've also developed curriculum and all kinds of materials you can use. But at that time, this first year, essentially, we started saying, we think that there is a huge opportunity for interest-driven learning connected to esports. And so we're going to start this pilot program. We think that we're going to have impact on things like students' interest in STEM skills, in STEM careers. We think they probably will want to come to school more because we'll have a club there that they're interested in finally. And so then as soon as we started, fortunately, we had UC Irvine doing this research and identifying things like what are the gains, what are the areas for improvement, and we track that year over year over year. So we started just in Southern California. At the end of the first year, the results were phenomenal, and we said we're just going to send it and we're going to go for all of North America. And then a couple of years ago, IESF came to us and said, we see what you're doing there and the impact you're having. We'd like to have you expand and start teaching this system around the world. And so we're now global. But so in that first year, you can see in the stats here, the yellow and blue, I'm sorry, the yellow is ELA, the green and blue are STEM skills, but then off the charts was the CASEL, the social emotional skills that were impacted in these students. And then I also just want you to see the size of the population. We're not saying that we went and talked to 10 students and this is what we found out. We had thousands of students, and GMs and coaches were the adult leaders in the program. So very significant data. And again, this is all available at nasef.org. On that research page, there's an orange button that links you right over to University of California's site where they have all the published papers. The second year, we looked at similar things, but you can see again, STEM engagement increase, STEM career interest, school values, school engagement, effort in school, cooperation, communication. I'm going to skip over the negative for just a second. Grit, perseverance, critical thinking. I mean, aren't these all things that you want to teach in school? But it's hard to have a specific lesson, right? You need to have it connected to something that's real world. And that's what esports is so great about. This one, the emotional regulation, when Constance and her team saw this come back as a negative, they were honestly a little bit bummed out. And they said, I can't believe that we're doing these amazing programs and kids are going down in emotional regulation. And so they dug in and they talked more to the coaches and the students. And you know what they realized is for the first time, these kids were saying, I am lacking emotional regulation. That's why it went down. Well, once you realize it's a problem, now you can start to address it, right? If you don't even think it's a problem, oh, I just have a temper because everybody has a temper in esports. Well, there's no improvement that's going to happen. So actually, the fact that it went down was a sign that we're doing the right thing. We're raising their awareness to be able to address it. This was the following year, and I want to highlight what parents said. Increase in community, school affiliation, life skills, and you can look through that. You know, the one thing that everybody thinks of with esports, hand-eye coordination, is almost at the bottom of the chart. But they saw more interest in teamsmanship, life skills, digital literacy, interactivity, communication. Look at that, 100% increase in community. Like, you can't get 100% of people on this call to agree on, I don't know, the fact that I'm wearing a blue shirt right now. I mean, 100% of people never agree on anything, but 100% of parents said, my kid has built a stronger community. And what is one of the huge issues that we're dealing with right now? It's post-COVID, but it's also just, I think, society in general. Kids are feeling isolated. And when every single parent can say, being part of an NASEF esports club built a stronger community, that's massive. And then over here on the right, this is a summary of some of the things that the students said they were experiencing while they were in these clubs. They were gaining more knowledge, skill, control, social interaction, and I love that they said entertainment, because that's the whole point. It's going to be fun, and that's what's going to draw them in. We forget to play as adults, and I think we forget sometimes that kids need that element of play and fun built into their education also. So I'm going to transition just for a second here. The following slides are all research from the Moreno Valley School District, which is in Southern California. They tagged the kids in their esports clubs in their student information system. I don't know what they're using, Schoology or something, but they do have esports classes, but this data is based on esports students who were in after school clubs, and they only tagged 627 kids, but their full program was over 1,000. So the data, you'll see some places where they extrapolate data. I'm sorry, they approached 1,800. So first off, attendance. If kids show up to school, you get, in California, it's the ADA, it's the daily attendance dollars. So esports participants attended school for 7.34 more days, which netted $354,000 in the budgets from the state. But again, if you extrapolate that to the full size of their program, that's about $1 million of attendance funds that are captured because the kids are showing up to school as they should be, but they're more motivated to show up. You can't participate in the club, you can't be in a tournament unless you have certain attendance and certain grades, just like all sports. And it plays out in this way. Kids show up and therefore the school captures those funds. They were suspended less often. So what you see here is year over year, non-esports participants were suspended more often, and esports participants were suspended less often. So, that's a huge swing between those in and those not in. 60% of esports students had never done any other extracurricular activity. And we all know how important that is for connecting kids and making them feel like they belong and really, participating in their education. 60%. The student reported improved categories: friendships, belief in myself, academics, attendance. I mean, these are all things that we're striving to improve. End of year GPA, kids in esports 2.7, not in esports 2.43. This is the data on the state testing. Of course, there should be growth every year and improvement every year. So that's what the dotted line indicates. And this is the testing for ELA, for English Language Arts, in middle school, which was the clubs that they were tracking. So esports kids, again, you can see significantly better than non. And then in the math, this is the one that blows me away. 8th grade math. Yes. And significantly above the expectation for the year. This is why I'm such a believer in esports. So this is a year of data. And so the people who worked on this are quick to point out, we can't say yet this is causal. We can say it's correlated, but we still have, we're saying a couple of years of this trend documented to be able to say, okay, now we have causation. But they're continuing to study and continuing to follow. If you're interested in doing the same thing, Peter Whitmore is the leader over there, and he's more than happy to share the surveys they used if you want those. That's available to you as well. So I've raised a couple of, as Tara said, we want to make sure this is interactive. I've raised a couple of points around grades and attendance and that kind of thing, but I'm just curious if there are issues that any of you are coming up against or any concerns that you have that you wanted to discuss. I'm here, Ruben is here. Ruben didn't really talk about his background, but he built a fantastic college esports program, and now ViewSonic is so lucky to have him on the team there. So any questions, you can type them in the chat. You could unmute and ask.
Anyone?
Anyone? I will give it a second, and then if not, we'll come back around to questions at the end. If I could ask a question, and I can't remember who had to be on and off. Let's see, Tyler, if you can't talk, that's okay. But if you're still here, yeah.
Yeah. How is this different from a company like Play Versus? Because I get a lot of messages just around them from signing up with their programming.
Yep. So Play Versus is a tournament platform, and we actually now are working with Play Versus as the platform host. So if you're going to have a tournament, then there are a couple ways to do it. If you start really small, you could run it yourself with a couple of spreadsheets on site. But if you want to have a tournament platform that's managing matches and connecting you to other schools and that kind of thing, that's what Play Versus does. So for example, in California, NASEF runs, you just saw the video of the California State Championships. We had Play Versus host the tournaments throughout the year. And then at the end of the year when that was the live event that you saw. So the two, we work in tandem really well. They're going to cover the the gameplay and the tournament side, and then we're going to cover helping you build out a program of everything around that magnet of the gameplay so that you get the educational benefits.
Thanks. I think in terms of just addressing concerns, one of the biggest challenges I know that we faced in getting our set up is we have to justify to parents in the community how it's used beyond esports, because it's great that it improves all of these wonderful areas. But at the end of the day, we need to also invest in program of study and curricular content that supports that. And so mapping it to our curriculums is just as important as everything else.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And is that mapping to date school hour curriculum, or is that integrating other opportunities after school, or both?
So no, there's nothing after school, nothing extracurricular is related to curriculum. You have to make for us to make it work within our school, we need to be using the computers as well during our school day to
Mhm.
meet program of study outcomes. And
Got it.
that's the difficult thing, is to help people see how that's possible and how the computers can be used. And so in order to fully invest into esport, because it is quite an investment to get into it, you have to have alternative planning to still use that technology in meaningful ways within your school.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to cover curriculum just for a second at the end, but here we go. We're going to do it together. Let me reshare my screen. All right, so here I am. This is nasef.org. Can you see that okay? I'm going to assume yes. So if you look at our learn menu, here's research that I just discussed, and we have curriculum. I don't think I've mentioned yet one of my favorite words to do with NASEF, and that is free. We offer 99% of what we offer is available free. We do have professional development that is free to fee depending on the depth that you want, but all of our curriculum is available completely free. It's high quality. So this was our middle and high school curriculum was approved by the state of California. You can back map it to different locations, but this is here for you. If there is a topic that you're interested in, you can dive right in and get the lessons and modify or use as is. So you'll see we have English language arts. I know CTE is a really big area, so I'll circle back and show you a CTE lesson in just a minute.
Sorry, is this specific to California?
It was approved by California, but it can be used anywhere. So let me show you. I'm going to dive in. All you have to do to be able to access this right here where it says join NASEF, do that. It'll take you like a minute to sign up, and then you have free access to all of this. My graphics aren't loading because Zoom is taking up a lot of my content. But let's say we're looking at, we'll go to strategists as an area of interest. And let's say analysts. And so here is the curriculum. It's available. I'm going to scroll through all of the preamble to get you here. These are the grids for certifications. And then here you go. Course overview, management theory. You know, I mean, it's all, there are so many different types of curriculum available. So this, again, this is in our CTE. Another area that I love that is accessible for a lot of people is our community library. We have what's called a Scholastic Fellows program, and that's open right now. So if any of you is interested in being part of a professional learning community and getting support from NASEF in developing something in your region, the Fellows program is where to do that. So for about 9 months, these educators spend time together. We have a coach who works with them, who helps them with implementing programs. And then at the end of their fellowship, as a capstone project, they develop curriculum in their area of expertise. And that all becomes freely available in the community library. This comes from people all around the world and in many different subject areas. So for example, in elementary school, you have elementary esports, middle school, we have CTE esports, career pathways, CTE investigation, art, social sciences, language arts, STEAM, And each of these has, I'm just randomly choosing one to show you. You've got a video overview from the person who wrote it, and then and then can you see, I never know if it follows the thread. Here's the curriculum. Okay, yeah, so here's the curriculum, syllabus, assignments, everything you need. So if you're trying to connect to your school day, I mean, we absolutely can help you with that.
That answers my question. Thanks. I do have to run,
Okay.
but from Canada, it would be really beneficial to see some Canadian curriculum connections. But other than that, I know we'll get there.
Okay, I'm gonna refer you, I'm gonna type my email address real quick in the chat. And if you email me, I will connect you to Melissa Burns, who's a NASEP fellow in Canada. I know that she has curriculum in there, and she also is working very hard on spreading scholastic esports in Canada, and she can really help you with those resources as well.
Nice. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. All right. So, well, there, we addressed the curriculum question right up front. Were there any other questions that you all wanted to cover, or should I keep going with the content that I have?
It looks like we're good for the moment, so let's keep going.
Okay, I'll keep
Thank
going.
you.
Okay, oops, I gotta share again. Share this screen. And then let's make it a slideshow. Okay, so how do I start? Most of you said, I want to do this, but I'm not yet. So how do I get started? That's what I'm gonna show here. Sorry, I'm trying to share this. Okay. So the first thing, I just was on the website and showed you there's that bright orange button at the top, and this is as detailed as we get on the registration form. So it's super easy to join. And then you immediately have access to all of the curriculum that I showed you, all of our programs, tons of support framework, a Discord with hundreds of people who are implementing esports in their schools, so you can connect with them and ask questions. Over the years, developing thousands of esports clubs, this is the framework that we have come up with. It's 8 steps. The first is to identify someone to be what we call the general manager. They generally manage what's happening in the club, but they are not the key person for any activities. Our goal is that the kids would run everything and the general manager would have oversight. We also don't call it a coach because sometimes they're coaching game skills, but very often they're not coaching game skills specifically. We have surveys that we have developed so that you can figure out what kind of games are the kids in your school interested in. What are they interested in outside of games? Do you want to start a shoutcasting program? Do you have people that really love art? So should you be working on that? Do you have someone who's really into the analytics who can help you with that portion? So doing those surveys to understand the direction that the club should go. And then it's very important that parents are on board. You saw the parents in that video. I mean, they all were so supportive of what their kids are doing. But a lot of parents, I mean, when I started working for NASEP, my kids were like, what is happening on the planet right now that my mom is advocating for video games? This is ridiculous. Because I always had been not against games, but really concerned about the amount of time that I heard, like all the stories. So if you can have a parent information night and share, for example, some of the research that I've shown already, some of the camaraderie that's going to happen, that will put their minds at ease, and then they're going to be really supportive of the programs that you're developing. Collecting names to build out a roster, get things going. In some aspects, it's just like every other club, and in some aspects, it's not. Number 7 is really important. Start small. So when you do a survey and you come back and you have 73 games that the kids want to play, do not do that. Start small with a couple of titles. Enter some of our Minecraft challenges, for example, or some of our other programs that are external programs you can plug into and you don't have to manage everything yourself. Keep it reasonable so that you don't get burned out, so that your club leaders don't get burned out, and then you have a good solid foundation for the future. And then you just continue outreach and development. This is from the toolkits that we have on our website. So again, just highlighting the details of each of those steps. We also give samples, like a club charter is really important. We always want the students to be as invested in as possible in the way that things run, because then that's when you get a lot of those benefits of the leadership and the teamwork. And I mean, you're educators, you know this, I don't have to tell you. So we have a club charter, but make sure that the kids are helping to develop this, not just something that the adult facilitator says, here's what we're doing, and then runs with it. There are options to join tournaments. There are different state associations. I know that Play Versus runs tournaments in a lot of different states, and we already talked about them. We have just the one in California. We're working, I don't think I can say out loud yet, but we're working on a really fun, easy to enter national tournament that'll be starting this fall. We're trying to keep it really simple, where you'll be able to play the games just with a switch to get started if needed. Just to give, again, that ready to go program that you can join without having to invent everything. That being said, your students probably know 99% of what needs to be done to host a tournament. So we always say, if you're not sure how to do it, start by asking the kids. They will help you. But NASEF is always here, our info at email, our Discord. James Wood is our tournament admin. And I think the man just lives on Discord. He's always answering questions from people or directing. It's a great community. So we're definitely here to help as you get things going. We run lots of Minecraft programs, and those are great for during the school day as well as after school. This graphic is from last year's, but we do have NASEF Farmcraft. We have Rube Goldberg, which is a great science and engineering challenge. We've done in the past, we did Minecraft, which is a virtual exchange, Junior Solar Sprint. So again, these are free to join. If you do not have Minecraft, we will provide it for you. So, it's really just an absolutely wonderful place to connect the students into specific types of education. And then let's see. So this summer, I don't know if any of you are getting ready to send students off for the summer, but we are running a couple of Farmcraft challenges through the summer. One will be a build challenge, where they're going to be looking at the kind of agriculture that's in their local market. How much does it cost? Where did it come from? Is it GMO or not? And then they build in Minecraft a replica of what they saw. And then we also have a coding camp, where we'll have a free virtual coding camp that the kids can go through. And then at the end, they have a challenge to build their own farming game. So again, completely free to participate in that. And Minecraft provided if needed. Other things that we run, we do a lot of what we call beyond the game challenges, again, focusing on the outside of that circle. They're in once they have the esports, but then how do you help them connect to the learning through things like we do a challenge in Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is a design platform. It's used for Fortnite. It's actually, now they call it Unreal Engine Fortnite Creative. So we have education around how to use it, and then a challenge to develop something using that platform. Last year, it was a 10-pin challenge related to bowling. We haven't unveiled yet what the challenge will be this fall, but we have that coming up. And then we have been working with another nonprofit that developed a game called Venture Valley. Super fun entrepreneurial game. You set up a store, and then you have to decide, if I have, for example, a coffee shop, how much am I going to charge for my coffee? How much am I going to spend on marketing, on staff? If I want to pay all my buddies really well, I'm not going to make as much profit. I can't pay off my loan. The interest builds up, all the life lessons in a game. And then we do a really popular why we play and how we practice, where students are challenged to develop a video documenting their experience. So they enter that, and then we also compile those all into a video at the end. When you get this slide deck, make sure you watch that video and get the Kleenex handy because it's a tearjerker for sure. And then professional development, I mentioned we do have virtual workshops that we can do, and we also have online certification courses in addition to literally dozens of toolkits that are available on our website. So I mentioned the 8 steps to starting a club. We have a general manager certification course that you can take. It's about $199. It's an online academy and it's self-paced. You can go through, and then when you complete it, I shouldn't say if, when you complete it, then you would be a NASEF certified general manager. We do also offer discounts. If your district wants to get a bulk purchase, you could email me and I'll help you out with that. And then a little bit more in depth, we have a coaching certification, and you can see here what the modules are. So it just goes a little bit more if you're moving into a more detailed program, then this is something that you would look at. And then I mentioned the Scholastic Fellows program. The first year is a fellowship where everyone works on their own curriculum. And then if you decide to continue, you can become a mentor of others. And then the community leaders are our trainer of trainers. It's really important to us that those that are involved have built a program. They understand the dynamics, both with the adults and with the kids, and with, being safe on the internet and the technology and all the things that come into play. So that's important to us that you go through that pathway. If you're interested, as I said, the applications are open now, so you can go to our website, and under the Learn menu, there's the Scholastic Fellows program and get the application there. I appear to be frozen. There we go. Okay. So what we are trying to do with NASEF is connect learning and intentional play. As I said, that is Scholastic Esports in a nutshell. So I am going to turn it over to Ruben for just a moment, because Ruben is the expert on the other side who has put the lab together and who is with ViewSonic helping many others to do so. So Ruben, you want to take it away and talk a little bit about equipment issues and
absolutely.
get rolling.
Thank you, first of all, Claire, and thank you so much, everyone, for your questions. I see them on the chat, and thank you for all that feedback. And again, we'll follow up with that information too to make sure everybody's got their questions answered as well. When it comes to the equipment, again, Claire really expanded on the ecosystem of what it really means to have esports in the EDU. And then ultimately it comes down to how do we activate in terms of the equipment needs. This is where I highly advocate for your partnership with your IT admins. Ultimately, you don't have to know everything. Your students are also very well knowledgeable users of the products, what it takes to actually have gaming incorporated. Some of them have game perhaps independently at home. And again, when we define esports in education, you're not doing this alone, right? You're doing this with a community. I think Claire kept focusing on that word a ton, and a lot of great pull quotes, honestly, to make sure that folks really understand what it means to game with intentionality and guidelines and supervision from the adults, from the teachers, from the parents, and then ultimately to protect our kids from any kind of security issues, right, or any infringement of that in a school environment. So that's really step number one. And I did see someone on the chat earlier, I think it was our gentleman friend that was from Canada that just recently acquired some tech equipment, some gaming PC. And so when it comes to the specs, if you will, a lot of the times you're really focusing on what is a higher refresh rate or a higher response rate. And all that really means, without getting so technical, is you're really dependent on what kind of game title that you're choosing so that your kids or your students are able to be intentional with their gaming hours to get better at a game, right? And so when it comes to the traction of the movement of the game, you want to make sure that you're giving them the best chance possible to get better at the game. And so that's why when you're thinking of equipment, you're not just thinking, oh, any computer, right? And I think that typically we kind of categorize it, and that's normal. We're really going after something that's very gaming specific. And so here at ViewSonic, as you all know, or perhaps don't know, And I'll put the link as a reference for everybody to check out, and I'll also put it on the community platform. We have essentially a large array of displays, gaming monitors in particular, along with interactive flat panels. So that way you can improve on the coaching side and the development side into the strategy of the game, and as well as digital signage, because at the end of the day, it's great to have, moments where students are getting a chance to compete, right, in a higher level, if you will, or even in a rec level. But ultimately, we want to display their works, right? And then ultimately, it goes beyond the game, as Claire mentioned. There's a lot of transferable skills. We want to hone in onto the soft skills, and we want to display our students' hard work in a culminated way. And so this is where we get to share with parents or share with other classmates or students from the peer-to-peer side to showcase, like, here's what my outcome of the game was, or here's the production aspect of it that brings that entertainment value together, or educates new users or new players, if you will, or new students, or even just parents to understand what your kids are actually playing and how they incorporate or fit into a particular role. That's always great to also showcase. And so it's why we have these arrays of displays, if you will, so that way you're able to capture that. Along with all those things, of course, there was also peripherals like headsets and microphones and mice and keyboards, all that good stuff. And so I highly recommend to work with your IT. Ultimately, typically the tech provider or the reseller that you're working with has a gaming line or division, if you will. And if they don't, that's where I highly recommend to click on our link first and then take a look at what we offer and how we fit into the ecosystem, because it does take a variety of other tech companies to make sure that, hey, this is the best package for your needs based off where you're at in terms of where you're going to start from, where you're looking to aspire. And I'm talking from the gaming PC side, but there are other opportunities to start off with a console, if you will. So let's say you wanted to start with a Nintendo Switch, and well, that will be a lesser of a route to essentially obtain other equipment. So it takes you to another pathway. So it really depends on what you want to start off with. And again, a good focus point, and again, this is why Claire is here, is to give you really that, hey, we're doing this with intentionality, coupling it with some really great resources, knowing that you're not alone, and creating that constant touch point. Again, the community, if you will, is very inviting, accepting. We're learning new things every day. You're seeing the trends and how can we essentially get to students to activate other areas that they didn't know they had these talents or gifts, or at least showcasing them into a public space. That's going to ultimately lead to the best enrichment possible, and at the same time, transform lives and impact them in a big way. Thank you, Tara. I just saw the link popped in to everyone. But that's the equipment in a nutshell, if you will, without having going too in depth. But Claire, thank you for the invite and allowing me to share that plug.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Ruben. I think what you mentioned about if you don't know what to do, your students will know. I'm just going to share a funny story. I was at FETC and speaking with a panel, and one of our NASIF educators, who is from New Jersey, was relaying a story that she didn't know exactly how to set something up, and she asked her 8th grade class if one of the kids, can you help me with this? And he came up to her and he said, Miss Pam, I usually charge for this, but because I know you, I won't. And he whips out his business card, and this 8th grade kid is an IT consultant.
I
So
love it.
talk
That's
about
brilliant.
yeah, I mean, just fantastic. So yes, they definitely, trust me, if you're bringing esports in, they're going to be all about helping you with it.
Brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, oh my gosh, fantastic. So I have just a couple other slides to share. We talked about the equipment. If you join NASEF on the dashboard, which you get access to right away, we do have some tech guidelines, and that also goes into things like if you're thinking about doing a streaming program or shoutcasting program, what kinds of things do you need? So you might find that helpful as well. spent some time already talking about the curricula, so I won't spend too much time here. Although I do want to also point out health and wellness. That is something that is often a concern of people. Are we going to, you know, there's this image of kids sitting in a basement eating hot Cheetos and drinking Red Bull and gaming till all hours of the night and not doing homework. We want to teach kids how to be healthy, and in the environment where they love to be is the best place to do that. So we do have some resources to help you with that as well. And so that is my overview, but do we have any other questions that we could answer? No other questions at the moment. Oh, I would love to see the video. Sweet. I'm sure that Ruben and Tara are
That's awesome. Yes, please.
too. Oh shoot, now it's playing. All right. Any questions? Anything else I can answer? Be a resource for? I know this is so cool.
Oh, look at that. That's awesome. Do we?
Shad, what? Oh, there you go. Okay.
Oh, nice.
I thought your name looked familiar. I feel like are you doing some of the Minecraft programs there, Shad?
Yes, I am. We've met and
Yes,
talked
we
prior.
have.
Mhm.
I was thinking, I wonder if that's the same Shad Lacefield. What are the odds? So cool. Yes. Ask Shad if you have questions too. He's doing great work there in Kentucky.
No, and I can share too the video of our first ever elementary esports lounge. That's just a dedicated lounge that's built at our STEM Academy for boys using the ViewSonic IFPs. And then ViewSonic was great to help us with the Heroes and High Scores event where we used a ton of ViewSonic IFPs and we basically took all of them from different classrooms and set up in the gym in our gaming lounge to host a special tournament with police officers and kids from high school and elementary school.
So cool.
That is awesome.
So cool.
Love to hear it. All right. Well, Tara has the deck to share with you all. I know there's a video of this. I am definitely accessible. Oh, I think I have a slide with my email address on it, so I could pop that back up real quick.
Claire, this has been so awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Shad, for sharing. This is, I love that. This has been such a great way to kick off our esports series. And this is the first of two other, and we're in June, and then we're going to wrap up in July. So really just wanting to ensure you have just the nuts and bolts to get started, and getting started in a way that works for your district, your school. The story that you're going to hear in next month, they've started in a smaller way, but they've started. And I think that's really the name of the game. I love the fact that we've got all this amazing information on NASEF. So I hope you take full advantage. As Claire mentioned, yes, we are going to ensure that you get this deck as well as the recording. Those of you who have registered and registered for this event, if you end up watching this later, it will get emailed out to you. But we're also going to post it in our community forum. The deck will be there as well as the recording. So, and I encourage you to check it out there. And I did take a little peek at our comments. I don't see so many yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an hour or two, and hopefully you will pop a comment into that thread so that you can have an opportunity to win a gift card. I'm going to put it here again, the link, just because I know it's kind of moved up. And then hold on one second, let me find it again. My goodness, there we go. I'll put it here. And so, like I said, I'm going to check back in a couple of hours, and then I will put the winner in the community there. If there aren't any more questions or anyone else, Ruben, Claire, wanted to say anything else?
Yes, we both typed in the chat, but I'll just say it out loud also. Isti, I will be there. Ruben will be there. Tara, are you
Yes.
going to be there?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All
Excellent.
right. All right. Get your singing voices ready because Isti is coming. So yes. If
That's
you're
right.
there, we would love to see you.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's a secret what you'll be doing at Isti, but there's going to be a lot of fun. So please
Yeah.
find us. Yes. Love to see
Yes.
you.
No, same. We'll be there, and please come visit us. Tons of activations that we have in store. And Shad, thank you. There will be a whole esports activation, tons of prizes. I can't release that out, but you're definitely going to want to stop by and see if you can win all sorts of great prizes that we've got in store. So thank you so much, Claire, honestly, for coming to us to collaborate here and to work with us here to do an awesome special webinar and to kick off our esports webinars that we've got up ahead. And again, for those that have done some great work, please share in our community platform. Ultimately, that's what we want to do, is stimulate the conversation and then guide folks to the resources, right? NASIF is a humongous resource that, quite honestly, is continuously building on achieving more goals, right? We don't stop with just one region. We really want to try to capture esports as a whole, and esports is truly a global um, platform, if you will, that you can pursue more careers beyond the States, if you will. So we're excited to have you, Claire. Thank you so much. And again, if there's more questions on anything else, feel free to find us on the community platform, or you can email us as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. Be well. Thank you. See you next
Hi, everyone.
time. Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you, Tara. Thank you.